Since there's been so much controversy about this ongoing litigation regarding P. Diddy, and since it's in the field that I take a strong interest in, figure why not talk about it. Diddy's in a war. The AUSA Damian Williams is in a war. It's wartime for lawyers and the paralegals. Going off of some of my notes that I took down after I conducted my legal research into this case, because this case is public record. If you are a legal researcher, then you should have access or know how to gain access to governmental public records. It's a criminal case until they decide to create some kind of gag order. It's still public record. So let's get down to business. I've been in many wars as a paralegal, and I set up a lot of my cases outside the court, dealing with court bullies. Get into Diddy's current case. First, let's talk about his appeal against his bail bond. All right. Diddy's appeal for the denial of his bail. Now, after reviewing the oral argument that was made by Diddy's attorney, Diddy was never on a release condition when he allegedly contacted this Miss Harper, who was one of the witnesses. Under 18 U.S.C. 3148B, after a hearing, the court determines either that there is probable cause to believe that the person has committed a federal or state or local crime violated by any other condition of release. Diddy's lawyer cited a second district case law called United States versus LaFontaine, 210 Federal 3rd 125. In that case, the defendant LaFontaine was released on bail. She then contacted witnesses. So they considered that tampering with evidence and they revoked her bail. But that was based on something that she did while she was on a conditional release. Diddy was never on any kind of release. So his bail should not be revoked. According to the statute that I just read, and also according to the case law that I just read, which Diddy's attorney cited to the judge before they denied their motion. So we'll see what the appellate justice has to say about that one. I am willing to bet that it's going to be overruled. In my opinion, they should file some kind of writ of supersedious or writ of mandamus, because an appeal could take almost 9 months for a decision to be made. But this is a high-profile case, so things are going on, and also this is the Southern District of New York. Let's see. Now, let's talk about the charges. Right? Yeah, it's a RICO Act, but you got to find him guilty of several of those elements that qualifies for racketeering. And one of his charges is sex trafficking. This is one of the key elements the prosecution must prove in order to prove guilt under the Racketeering Influence Corrupt Organization Act. That's RICO. Now, if you're an adult, you must have engaged in sexual activities without your own consent. If you're a minor, you don't need no consent. Well, as Diddy's lawyers pointed out upon their investigation, not one person admitted that they attended to any of those freak-offs without their own consent. As for any minors, all of a sudden there's a smorgasbord of civil lawsuits, not criminal, allegedly minors See how that play out. As for disclosure of discovery, the prosecution is under mandated law. Let me rephrase that. The prosecutor, the AUSA, Damian Williams, and his team is under mandated law pursuant to Brady versus Maryland, the United States Supreme Court case, which the judge in Diddy's case also admonished the prosecution about Brady versus Maryland. Right? They are to hand over evidence to Diddy and his legal counsel because the accused is entitled to confront every witness against him in the criminal procedure, according to a case law called Crawford versus Washington. It violates the Sixth Amendment Confrontation Clause. So far, it doesn't appear like the prosecution wants to comply with this. They're following protective orders. If you look at the federal case docket, you know how to do legal research. You can have a Pacer account, or you can go to, I'm not going to tell you to find it yourself. Go to Pacer if you got a Pacer account. But the docket, you pull those records, reflects that the prosecution filed a protection to protect the evidence because it's such a high-profile case. They don't want to endanger any witnesses. But yet, you're charging him, and you're under federal mandate to disclose that evidence to him, so that him and his defense can prepare for these criminal charges that is filed against him, especially under RICO, racketeering, sex trafficking. Now, I'm a legal researcher. I've been doing this for many years. So after taking all this interest in the Diddy case, that's why I'm able to talk about what I know. It's available to the public. Let us not forget, this is the same system that is used daily to prosecute people of color, and also men in prestigious positions, powerful positions. But mainly, men of color who can't afford an attorney. As of today, thousands of young men were sentenced with harsh sentences that is nonsensical in comparison to the actual crime that was committed. You got people serving life sentences for getting caught for the third time buying a 20 piece of rock cocaine. People have been in 30, 40 something years now, since the 80s. Non-violent offenses. Pretty sure a lot of people of color have family members that are still serving time in prison for a drug habit because of a 3 strikes law that was created by this same administration that's all of a sudden is going up against what they call corruption, RICO. Now, I'm not claiming, I'm not about to be very clear. I don't condone what I witnessed, and any of us may have witnessed that Diddy did. But he has to own up to that himself. But what he did is not sex trafficking. That's battery. That's abuse. Prosecute him for that. You don't want to. You want to throw a federal racketeering, influence, corrupt organization act charge out. Throw him away for life. Set an example. This is a public lynching. Yeah, it's an example. The only difference is that he doesn't have a noose around his neck in front of the public. He's not being whooped with master slave belt. but he was seeking freedom. Financial freedom. Just like Kufi Kinte, if y'all saw the movie, Roots, was seeking physical freedom. Made a public example out of him. This is what happens if you dare try to be free. That's what I see this as. It's interesting, but it's war. Diddy got to fight. Diddy's attorneys should start filing civil lawsuits against every single person that wants to make these allegations against him for character defamation. And I don't care. Let them prove it. Make them prove it. Everybody that filed a suit, these 60-something lawsuits, these 120-something lawsuits that's going on all of a sudden, they all get sued. AUSA, you get sued. We filed an injunction. Writ of mandamus for the denial of the bill. The judge don't want to cooperate, the judge is getting sued. Everybody's getting sued. We got civil rights involved in this. Exhaust everybody. Nobody's innocent. It's war.
I've been through the fire, yeah, so many times. I've waited in darkness for all of my life. Now I wanna be.
Yo, Bash, you been tripping on them hoes.